Microsoft 365 costs money every single month, or every year if you pay annually. And in 2026, the price is going up again. So the question a lot of people are asking right now is it actually worth it? Or are the free alternatives finally good enough? Today I'm giving you an honest breakdown. No sponsored opinion, no corporate talking points. We're going through what you actually get, what it costs, who it makes sense for, and who should probably just stop paying for it. Let's get into it. What Microsoft 365 is in 2026. First, let's be clear about what Microsoft 365 actually is in 2026, because it's changed a lot from what people think of as just Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. At this point, Microsoft 365 is more of a cloud-integrated productivity ecosystem than an office suite. Yes, you still get the desktop apps, but you also get 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage per user, access to Teams, Outlook, the web versions of all the apps, and increasingly, Copilot, the AI assistant, baked into everything. The plans most people are choosing between are Personal, which covers 1 user, Family, which covers up to 6 people each getting their own terabyte of storage and full app installs, and then the Business tiers, Basic, Standard, and Premium, which add email hosting, Teams, security tools, and more depending on the plan. And here's the important 2026 update. Microsoft is raising commercial pricing on July 1, 2026, with increases ranging from 5 to 33% depending on the plan. The reason they're giving is added AI and security features. Whether you think those additions justify the cost is a big part of what this video is about. The pros, why it's still worth it for a lot of people. Let's start with what Microsoft 365 genuinely does well, because there are real reasons it's still the dominant productivity suite. First, Copilot AI integration. In 2026, Copilot is no longer an add-on. It's built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams, and Outlook as a default experience. It can summarize a meeting in Teams while it's happening, draft a PowerPoint presentation from a prompt, build and explain Excel formulas, and rewrite or tone-shift text in Word. If you're a regular heavy user of these apps, this AI layer genuinely saves time. It's not perfect, but it's meaningfully useful. Second, compatibility. This one is boring, but it matters. In professional environments, DOCX, XLSX, and PPTX are still the standard file formats. When you send a Word document to a client, a colleague, or a professor, they're opening it in Word. Microsoft Office created those formats and handles them best. Free alternatives like Google Docs or LibreOffice have improved a lot, but formatting can still break, especially on complex documents with tables, charts, or custom styles. If your work depends on documents looking exactly right, this matters. Third, 1 terabyte of storage per user. The Personal and Family plans include 1 terabyte of OneDrive storage. That's a lot of space, and compared to what you'd pay for that much cloud storage separately from Google or Dropbox, it's genuinely competitive. On the Family plan, 6 people each get a full terabyte. That's 6 terabytes total for the price of 1 plan. Fourth, the desktop and cloud combination. You get full-featured desktop apps that work offline, plus modern web versions that work on any device. The experience between them is seamless. Start something on your laptop, pick it up on your phone, or a browser on someone else's computer. That level of integration across desktop and cloud is still ahead of the free alternatives. Now for the honest part. Here's where Microsoft 365 genuinely has problems. The price hikes. Commercial pricing is going up in mid-2026, and the range of increases, 5 to 33%, is significant. For businesses paying per seat across a team, that's a real budget line item. For individuals, the Personal plan is still relatively affordable, but it's moving in the wrong direction. Subscription fatigue. A lot of users feel trapped. You're paying for access to your own files and your own tools every month, and if you stop paying, your apps go into read-only mode. That psychological dynamic bothers people, and it should. If you only use Word occasionally to write simple documents, paying annually for a full Microsoft 365 subscription is a lot. Feature bloat. The suite keeps growing. Copilot features get added frequently. New tools appear in the apps. The settings get more complex. For a casual user who just wants to type a document or make a spreadsheet, it can feel overwhelming. You're paying for a lot of things you're not using. Who should pay and who shouldn't? This is the most useful part of the video, the honest verdict I user type. Businesses and small to medium enterprises, yes, absolutely. Microsoft 365 business plans include Intune for device management, advanced security features, Teams for communication, Exchange for email hosting, and full Office app access. Trying to replicate all of that with free tools for a team is complicated and often ends up being less secure. For businesses, it's infrastructure. Power users of Excel and PowerPoint specifically. Yes, if you're doing advanced data analysis, complex financial modeling, dynamic charts, or sophisticated PowerPoint presentations, the free alternatives genuinely can't match the depth of features in the desktop apps. Google Sheets and LibreOffice Calc are solid for everyday work, but hit a ceiling. If you're hitting that ceiling regularly, the subscription pays for itself in time saved. Families, yes, and this is one of the best value cases. The family plan at its current price gives up to 6 people each a full installation of all the apps on multiple devices, plus a terabyte of storage each. Split across 6 family members, the per-person cost is low and the value is high. Light or casual users? Probably not. If you're writing the occasional letter, making a simple budget spreadsheet, or putting together a basic presentation once in a while, Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides do all of that for free. So does Office Online, which is Microsoft's own free browser-based version. LibreOffice and OnlyOffice both install on your desktop for free and handle Microsoft formats well. There is genuinely no strong case for paying monthly if you're a casual user. The no subscription option, Office 2024. If you want Microsoft Office on your desktop without a subscription, there is still a one-time purchase option. It's called Office 2024. You pay once, you own it permanently. It includes Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and OneNote. No monthly fees, no renewal required. But here's what you lose. No Copilot. The AI features are subscription only. Limited cloud connectivity. It works with OneDrive, but not as seamlessly as 365. No 1 terabyte storage included. And no future version upgrades. When Office 2026 or whatever comes next releases, you'd have to buy again to get it. If AI features don't matter to you, and you primarily work offline, Office 2024 is a legitimate option. One payment, use it as long as you want. Alternatives worth considering. If the price increases have pushed you to look elsewhere, here's where the free and paid alternatives actually stand in 2026. Google Workspace free tier, Docs, Sheets, Slides, 15 gigabytes of storage, is the strongest free alternative for most people. Real-time collaboration is excellent. The apps are clean and capable, and everything is cloud-first. If you're not constantly exchanging complex formatted files with Microsoft Office users, this covers the majority of productivity needs. OnlyOffice is the best free option if Microsoft format compatibility is important to you. The interface looks almost identical to Microsoft Office, and it handles DOCX and XLSX files better than most alternatives. Available as a desktop app and a web version. Free and open source. LibreOffice is the best fully offline, fully free option. No internet required, no account needed, no subscription ever. Strong compatibility, actively maintained, and the right choice if you want a capable desktop suite that costs nothing. The honest verdict on alternatives. For casual and light users, the free options are genuinely good enough. For professional, business, or power users, especially anyone dealing with complex files, security requirements, or deep Excel work, Microsoft 365 still leads. So is Microsoft 365 worth it in 2026? It depends entirely on who you are. If you're a business, a power user, or a family splitting the cost, yes, the value is there, and it's still the best integrated productivity suite available. If you're a casual user who opens Word once a month, no, the free alternatives have caught up enough that you shouldn't be paying monthly for it. The price increases are real and worth factoring in. If you're on a commercial plan, look at your renewal date and compare against what you're actually using. If the Copilot features aren't in your workflow, the value proposition gets harder to defend. Office 2024 is worth knowing about as a one-time purchase option if you want the desktop apps without the ongoing commitment. If this helped you figure out which side of the line you're on, hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment letting me know whether you're staying on 365 or switching to something else. I read them.